to Lisa Ann Can. I'm Lisa Ann. I like to keep a bouquet of fresh flowers near my kitchen sink so that I can enjoy them every day. But I've been so busy that I have not refreshed them in a few days. So I'm gonna go out this morning and harvest some zinnias and make a nice new bouquet to look at. I've been sitting here reminiscing about my grandmother and all that she taught me. When I used this old-fashioned food mill to process my grape jam, I was reminded of her and all the things that she used to make with it. Something that she made very often that I had really forgotten about was tomato juice. So I have a few more tomatoes left in my kitchen, and there's a few more out in the garden. So this morning I'm going to go out there and pick tomatoes and get those ready to be processed into fresh juice. So come along with me and I'll show you how. The nice thing about preparing tomatoes for juicing is all you have to do is cut the bad spots off and quarter the tomatoes. You don't have to peel them. And it's a good way to salvage tomatoes that have bad spots on them that you wouldn't otherwise use. Like this one, that's perfect. Just cut it one way and the other way and throw it in the pan. Okay, put the tomatoes on the stove. Turn it on about medium heat. There's no need to add any water because it's going to start producing juice itself pretty quickly. Just watch it and stir it, and then you want it to be soft enough to mash with a potato masher. It's just starting to simmer. It's very juicy. The tomatoes are very firm, so they need to cook down until they're very soft. Okay, they're done. They're soft enough to go through the food mill. I'll let them cool a little bit. Right, I'll just begin by ladling the stewed tomatoes into the food mill. Finish up by scraping all that goodness off the outside of the mill. There's a little piece of skin sticking through. There are a few small seeds that have to get through the mill. Not too many. And then when you're all done, there's about a cup of seeds and peels left. Each pint needs at least a half a teaspoon of salt. So I'll put that in there for the last of the juice. Now, even though I've put lids and rings on these, I'm not going to process them, just going to allow them to cool and put them in the refrigerator. And once they're chilled, we will give it a taste test. I'm up early this morning, enjoying tomato juice for breakfast. so good. I hope you have opportunity to make some yourself and compare it to store-bought. Of course, homemade is always better. My alarm went off while it was still dark. We have a work day at church and I have to get up and make some food for our lunch today to pack. And when my alarm went off and I was dreading getting up because it was dark, I thought of this proverb that's probably very familiar to many of you ladies. It's Proverbs 31, of course. And in verse 15, it says, "She riseth also while it is yet night, and giveth meat to her household." And I thought, that's exactly what I'm doing, but I'm not doing it cheerfully. As a young woman, I read Proverbs 31, and when I would read it, I would put pressure on myself to become this Proverbs 31 woman. There's a host of ministries called Proverbs 31, and I don't know what they teach because I haven't looked into them, but I just wanted to share and encourage today for you young women who are reading Proverbs 31 and in your flesh trying to attain to some high goal and high standard, maybe letting you know what Proverbs 31 is really about would help you with that. The whole book of Proverbs is about two women. One, the virtuous woman that we see in Proverbs 31, and we see earlier in the book of Proverbs the strange woman. And I'm not going to go into great detail this morning about that. I would like to do a video in the future on the book of Proverbs and study these two women. This morning I just want to say a couple of things. One is that the Proverbs 31 woman is very mature. She's lived a long time. Her husband's an elder who sits in the gate and judges. She's not a young woman with little babies, toddlers, and even young children. Her children are grown. They rise up and call her blessed. So how did she become so virtuous? Well, it's through the study of Proverbs that you understand the value of wisdom. Solomon in Proverbs speaks about wisdom. When you take a close look at wisdom, what you find out is that wisdom is a person. Wisdom is Christ. And so this woman, she is a mature woman who is full of wisdom. She's full of Christ. And the Apostle Paul talks about that very thing in his epistles. Let's take a look at 1 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 7. Paul says, "But we speak the wisdom of God in a mystery, even the hidden wisdom, which God ordained before the world unto our glory." That's another message in itself, but if you'll think of the Proverbs 31 woman as having that hidden wisdom inside her, that is what makes her virtuous. And there's one other verse that alludes to this. If you'll turn to Colossians 1:27, we'll take a look at another. Verse 27, "To whom God would make known what is the riches of the glory of this mystery among the Gentiles, which is Christ in you, the hope of glory." So we might say that this Proverbs 31 woman, this virtuous woman, is a glorious woman. Proverbs 31 definitely glories in this woman. So if you have hopes of attaining to this glorious and virtuous status, the only way to do that is Christ in you. And the way to have Christ in you is for you to believe the gospel of your salvation. That's found in 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verses 1 through 4. And it is that Christ died and that he was buried and that he rose again the third day. And if you put your trust in that, then you are saved. And the beautiful thing about that is Christ is then in fellowship with you. He's in your spirit and he seals you. I hope this has been an encouragement to you. Thank you for watching. See you soon.